If you've spent a lot of time hanging out under bridges trying to trade la-boo-boos for la-blow-blows, you might have noticed these mysterious billboards are probably for something cool, right? Doubt it. It's a bank ad.
Honey, I think someone's following us.
Hey! Why are you following us?
Just chasing the dream.
What about your dream?
My dream?
Move to Europe.
What, now?
Why not?
Wait, should we? Start that podcast. Definitely. Oh, that dream! That looks forward!
50-50?
Okay.
You have reached your potential. You have reached your potential.
Yeah, I don't think your dreams are going to work out. I mean, good luck driving to Europe, bozos. You're going to get wet. And I feel sorry for this guy. His wife got the steering wheel in the divorce. Commonwealth also has a massive outdoor campaign with the same stupid slogan. Doubt, never did. Is it good? Doubt it. Does it make sense? Never did. I would have gone with this spokesperson. Too dark? Here's a palate cleanser.
Puppies, puppies, kittens.
I've just received word a second plane has hit the pit button. Nata, why not have a good slogan?
Yeah, look, I don't mind the line, doubt never did. It's quite interesting. It's that double negative. It kind of expects a little bit from the audience to get there, which I quite like. My issue is how they've brought that concept to life in that ad itself. So they've kind of got two competing ideas here. There's this idea of self-doubt getting in the way, and then this idea of the new Australian dream and that being really untraditional and lots of paths to do it. I think there is so much going on in this ad. I counted 9 stories in 60 seconds. It's really hard to keep up with because they flip genres way too many times in that spot. It starts like an SUV ad to begin with. It's a weird category choice. Then that older couple, they're really creepy and weird. That never doesn't resolve.
Yeah,
then
this is the ABC. You're not allowed to say that old creepy and weird. We're sorry to you all. Please keep watching. This is all we have.
Then the tone kind of has dad jokes, poking fun at toxic masculinity, and then it has that moment of sincerity with the Tillies. And I don't know if I meant to take that serious by the end of it or if it was a joke the whole time. So it's really confusing, and it's conflated by the fact that I think it's quite tone deaf to be saying that doubt is the only thing from stopping us in buying a house, quitting our job, affording our divorces. There is so much else going on in the world.
But there are also at least quite big things in the ad, whereas, like, one of them is just 2 white guys going, we should start a podcast.
The stakes are too low.
Yeah.
Way too low. So, yeah, it's really confusing. You don't know whether to take it seriously or not. I think it's a classic case of CommBank trying to appeal to everyone, and so they're appealing to no one.
There's a lot of mistrust in banks, and there's a lot of, some would say, hate and a lot of bank bashing. And
Why?
only...
Have you heard something?
And so they only do these brand campaigns when they want to address that in some way, shape, or form. And this really is a strategic sleight of hand. So they're sort of trying to transform mistrust into motivation. So they're saying, the doubt you may feel about us, no, 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 no. It's doubt about you. It's your doubt that's holding you back. And so they're trying to reposition themselves or reframe themselves, not as a financial institution selling mortgages, but as an enabler of greatness. And they're doing that through our aspirations. It's a clever sleight of hand, confusing, but it's a trying to, in their own way, to say, you can trust us because we're behind you, as opposed to proving that they should be trusted.
I saw this on TV, and for the first half a minute, I was like, what car is this? I don't understand. Why is it not talking about car features? But then also I don't understand why it's shot to look like Mad Max Fury Road. Like, that is such a strange reference for a thing that's talking about Australian dreams. Like, is there a dream in Fury Road? I don't know. What really irks me is For some reason, there is a genre of Australian ads that every time we're like, oh, we're going to make a big ad that's going to represent all Australians and we have to shoot it in the middle of a desert. And it's only Australia that does this. And we've seen it since the Qantas ad. And they just keep doing it again and again. And it doesn't mean anything anymore. It's like, why are all these people's dreams in the middle of a desert? It's just, it's become really cliched.
Yeah, we put all our dreams in a place none of us want to go. If you've ever turned on a television, you've seen an ad for KFC. But this year, KFC isn't happy to shut up and take your money. It's rebranded. Oh, KFC FLG? Did somebody say WTF? What does FLG mean? Fine, let me guess. Oh, eating chicken in a dirty alley. OK, it feels like gastro. Give me another. OMG, FLG means fellas looking greasy. Next. IDK, is it friend loser group? Next. Oh, I see. It's financially lacking groom. Next.
Shorty get inspired about that.
A PDA from Frisky Lovers of Gravy. Something tells me it won't actually be a boneless dinner. For filthy little gourmets, KFC made this.
I'm snapping nice and
Are you friends lathering germs? BTW, those nachos look like this in the ad and this IRL. Must have FLG. Fell on the ground. For the love of God, just tell me.
Finger licking good.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Duh. Typical KFC, it's old stuff, reheated. We can do better than that. How about foul little giblets? Fresh live goat. Free Luigi, guys. Oh, I've got it. F you. Love Gruen. We retired the original recipe slogan, finger licking good, during the pandemic when it was forbidden to lick fingers. KFC flogged a bucket, why not? Asked us to look on the fried side of life, told us this.
Shut up and take my money.
And they wouldn't shut up with this one.
Someone said KFC. Did someone say KFC?
What? As the host of Gruen, Gruen Transfer, Gruen Sweat, Gruen Planet, Gruen Factor, Gruen Report, Gruen XL, Gruen Triple X and Gruen Nation, I have to ask Todd, can you rebrand too much?
Well, this one's a bit close to home for me because my mum worked at KFC for my whole childhood, and she used to say the only damn thing finger-licking good about them is the grease that's stuck under your fingers after you do a shift.
Would she come home and let you lick those fingers? What a heartwarming story.
And eat the chicken. So they've done two levels of branding. So in the 90s, they cleverly went from Kentucky Fried Chicken to KFC to sort of put aside the word fried in the 90s where, you know, fat-free and fried was a bad thing, to put that aside and diversify their offering. And so that was their first major change, KFC. And then the second one was COVID comes and they can't talk about licking fingers. And so they moved to this sort of you know, abbreviation, which is now super popular online. So they're just leaning totally into that. You know, FML, YOLO, like all of this is now, and so they're trying to say, hey, we get it, and here it is, and this will work well online. Personally, those ads, you know, shut up and take my money, I don't want to like them, but I do. And the reason I like them is because they're not trying to elevate fast food. They're not trying to pretend it's quasi-healthy. They're just saying it's a craving. And there's something clean about them not mucking around with that. They're saying people want it. It's about hedonism. It's about stuff in your face. It's about enjoying yourself. And they're just going up. They're not saying that this is clean eating. They're saying this is dirty joy.
Yeah, I know. The ads are basically, you're gross, you know it, eat our chicken.
That's it. Yeah. And there's something clean about that.
Yeah, we serve it in a bucket. You know it's not a proper restaurant.
they are talking to 18 to 24-year-olds primarily. And so they think that this language and this behaviour is absolutely hilarious. And so I think it's actually forced me to accept it and go, this is actually extraordinary. It's a great case study. But one of the key metrics KFC use when they're seeing how successful are their campaigns is they use a brand buzz. And so they actually measure against 18 to 24-year-olds who's talking about their brands and what the positive sentiment is around it. And what they're finding with that primary market is that they are consistently winning that buzz war. And that's what the QSRs or the quick service restaurants are fighting for, which is buzz. So you can't beat McDonald's at the moment. They're 3 times the size of KFC, twice as many stores. They've got a bigger marketing budget, but they beat them on buzz. And that's the importance for the brands to be able to do that. And they win in different areas. So they are very culturally relevant in the ways they show up in music and sport and fashion, not just traditional marketing or traditional media. And they're able to lean into themselves and be proud of it and say, we know it's messy, we know it's oily, and they don't take it away, they actually put it in front of you. And like that's what their current campaign is, I'm going to wipe my hands on you and it's going to be messy. And that gives them permission to own occasions. So now they own the hangover. And they own Friday night footy on the couch. They own long road trips. So they've actually lent into it so hard that no one else can get in there, and they love that.
It's probably the best creative case study in Australia in the last 10 years. I mean, the notion of pride in fried. Why I think it's a great case study is, you know, it's 20 years ago, I need 60 seconds to tell the story, right? So the creative community would say, give me 60. And then there'd be an argument about that, and then it'd be 45 seconds. Then there'd be an argument about that, and it would have to be a 30-second. And then there'd be an argument about 30 seconds, have to be a 15-second. And they'd say, there's no way I can do anything in 15 seconds. Well, KFC's doing it in 6 and 7 seconds. This is the breakthrough. It's genuinely an advertising breakthrough, Wil, whereby they are proving that you can build brand and sell product and have price in 6 seconds. And so whenever you're in a discussion with, you know, the creative community and they are saying, I need more time, you can just show them this stuff. You say, no, you don't.
What a compelling argument. Chances are, if you have a Labubu hanging from your bag, you already know about white fox. But if you aren't as snatched as me, you might start with a simple question. Why is every young person wearing the same jumper? Soleil besties. The tea is that White Fox is the hottest brand right now, all over these buses, these bodacious billboards, and literally thousands of videos featuring herds of micro-influencers in groups of 3 or 4 or 8 or even a literal conga line. Slay besties. White Fox even runs competitions to spot its ads.
Spot a billboard or bus back to win. All you have to do is spot one, tag us and post to your Instagram story or TikTok.
I spotted one on this story about a bus crash. Oh no, bestie got slain. Liana, how did this hoodie brand outfox their competition?
This is a brand that is all about social proof. So they came out the gate influencer marketing, social media marketing first. They've dressed up their affiliate program as a university where you exchange content for free product. So they've really capitalised on that fear of missing out, this young audience that truly wants to fit in, not stand out. This brand is not about being original, it's about kind of looking hot and the same as everyone else that you hang out with. I think what's interesting for me about the buses and the billboards is less the kind of brand awareness piece and more the legitimising an internet brand. So I think we're in this like drop shipping, direct to consumer mad cycle where you don't know what you're buying from Marketplace, where it's come from. And I think what they've done by putting it out into the real world and reminding people that it's like, we're a big brand. And I think that's where traditional advertising plays a role for these youth audiences to really make it feel like a real big thing.
Yeah, the use of old media, outdoor, aggregating micro-targeting, and then creating a university out of people who are just going to talk about you. And then, of course, the big logo on the jumper. We've seen that before. I mean, White Fox, obviously the issue for them is going to be when that's no longer cool, because if you're going to make a big statement on your clothing, in the end, you go the same way as Guess went in the 1980s. So they're going to have to be really careful about how they manage their, future. But I'm just intrigued by the model, the advertising model, Wil. It's new for me to see that. It's new for me to see the young influencers spotting old media.
Yeah. You have to have a really engaged audience, though. You couldn't be a legacy brand and be like, go take photos of our billboard and expect anyone to want to jump in. So I think they've got this almost insidious cycle of refer a friend, get $20, everyone gets $20, post this, you'll win something. And, you know, it feels a bit like going onto the Temu homepage and getting into the...
Yeah, the ABC did a thing where we got people to take photos of our billboards, but then we realised we couldn't afford any billboards.
That's right. But that's the other thing, really. It is the money. Like, they've clearly put money into outdoor. Outdoor advertising is not cheap, and it is a very refreshing, like, you know, view of how they're working together. It's almost like you're giving, like, the kids, the cool kids on the block are giving street cred to this old school format of advertising, and it's really interesting to see it come to life.
The thing I find most interesting about White Fox is the choice of models. The choice of models that they use. So they don't use supermodels. They use the sort of girls that other girls follow but pretend they don't. So girls with sort of suspiciously symmetrical faces and unusually large lips and perfectly polished skin. So they are selling, they're unashamedly, like most brands wouldn't go there like this, they're unashamedly sort of promoting this sort of enhanced digital image to young people.
And one thing that I can't believe, no URL.
Yeah.
Nothing on there, just their name. On all of that, none of those ads have a website.
Yes.
So they, you know, understand that their consumers see something, read it, and Google it. Or it's a, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, you don't Google it. And I actually do use them sometimes as an example of why maybe we could put less on a...
Yeah, I think White Fox knows the real runway is digital. It's TikTok, it's Instagram, it's selfies, and they're playing right into it, using that as their distribution channel. And they're only focused on that distribution channel when it comes to the majority of their spend.
The other thing I think they're doing really well is, like, the player in this whole mix that we're not paying attention to is the parent. Right? These kids are probably not affording or being able to buy this themselves, most of the age group. So they're somehow getting the parents to take this brand seriously. These kids, the hoodies cost like $80, which is not cheap for the average middle-class family either. So the kids are working up to asking their parents for this as well. So I think even my thoughts go to the choice of advertising, you know, is the outdoor legitimizing it for that generation, while the kids are getting it through the digital formats, right? Yeah. It's creating an ecosystem for those decision-making pieces around that purchase itself.
Kmart is one of Australia's most beloved brands with obsessive headlines and a drooling cult following. But imagine if Kmart sucked. Big W is in big trouble. And running ads like this.
Got me going like...
$8? Rip off. I'll need to afterpay it in 4 easy instalments of $2. This week, Big W launched a big event.
Big W's big whopping toy sale, in store and online.
Looks fun, but in Big W's hands, even a toy sale was sad. While we were on air last week providing quality educational programming, as per the ABC Charter, Big W held a live-streamed shopping experience that kicked off at precisely 8 p.m. Well, 8 p.m. and 10 seconds.
Hello, I'm Mel Buttle.
Hello, Mel. The event clocked a big whopping 104 views, 100 of which came from within the Gruen office. That's why I get my toys like this. Jess, everyone likes Kmart. Why is Big W the biggest loser?
I really feel for Big W, especially if in that 10 seconds that I had to watch that. Like, it's a really hard market for them to be in. Kmart has so much domination and they are playing catch up. Like, their ads look similar to Kmart, their pricing similar to Kmart, their products are similar. but they only have half the stores. So if you're playing exactly the same game as your competitor, but you're not as easy to find, why would anyone look for you, right? I think that they have to do something to shift it, to shake it up, because Kmart does admittedly have slightly cheap-looking advertising, but I think they can get away with it because their products do such a great job for the dupes and their community does so much heavy lifting for the social credit. Big W just kind of looks like they've not reimagined their brand in a really long time. So I think that the toys might be an interesting space for them to go into. If Kmart's doubling down on fashion and beauty and lifestyle with their dupes and they're reformatting their stores, Toys R Us is a big gap that I still think about, and Big W might be able to own that space. And it's not that niche, actually.
And when you say dupes, just so we're clear, you mean duplicates, right? Like they have knockoff versions, like me and Adam Hills.
Exactly the same. You also have a cult following.
Now you say which one's the quality one.
Both have cult followings.
Yes,
good one, Jeff.
But it is possible. It is possible to turn your brand and business around. So it's not that long ago that Kmart were Big W in that they weren't performing very well. And we all remember, I'm sure you do, Will, full page press ad when Kmart decided actually now's the time that we're going to go out into the marketplace and say that we are back in the value business. And there was a full page press ad and it was an image of a whole pile of coins and then the line was expect change. That was it. And they sent a signal to the marketplace that that's what was going to happen. And that really is not that long ago and they've done an amazing job. Go to Kmart any time of the day. It's pumping. So Big W can do it. But what you have to do if you're in the retail business, you have to have a value proposition. They don't have an end line. Big W don't have an end line that says, we mean value. It's sort of weird that they haven't recognised that there's... That's a very simple model that you must actually express. Big W equals, right, value.
Can I honestly just ask you a question? And just be honest with me here. Yeah. What part of getting to know me in the last 18 years made you think I would remember a day Kmart took out an egg? You'll remember this, Will. No.
I know.
No, I know. And you don't know me if you think I do.
Maybe. But see, I love things like a full-page press ad.
Yeah, you love them, but I'm not...
I know
I'm not you.
But I want you to. So see if you... So Big W, about more 15 years ago, they pitched their business, and we presented them with an end line, which is the model, the model. Big W, live large for less. That's all you've got to do, right? So they could actually build their entire business off the back of getting your proposition right. Live large for less. They didn't buy it. They said to me, no. We're called Big W. It should be live big for less. And I, at that point, wanted to commit a crime. I mean, how can you not see that line, just that line, you can take on Kmart off the back of that line. Just live large for less, Big W. Go, off you go. They said no. It did contribute to me saying to myself, I mean, you just can't help these people.
Yeah. I mean, clearly they can't help themselves because the line they come up with for this was whopping toy sale.
Right.
I mean, it sounds like it was made by some guy in like a chicken suit in the 90s. I mean, I think Big W is in retail identity crisis. So they're not cheap enough to be Kmart. They're not curated enough to be Target. And they're certainly not digital enough to be Amazon. And they're sort of stuck in this middle space. They're visible but forgettable. And in the attention economy, being forgettable is a huge problem. They also need to understand that these days, people are not lining up so much for bargains, they're lining up to belong to something. And Big W is not something people want to belong to.
They do have an identity crisis, and it's because they don't know how to be anything other than cheap. And cheap and low price are different things. And we see that in brands like Aldi and Bunnings and in Kmart, where they have a very strong retail strategy and retail leaders. And a very strong retail strategy is an EDLP, which is an everyday low price retail strategy. It's been around forever, and that's what Kmart does, and that's why they're leaders. There is a reason why an everyday low price strategy works over cheap, especially now, because we just got discounting behaviour around us all the time. We're exhausted by it. People want the brands to do the work for them. And when you have an everyday low price strategy, you trust in that. If Bunnings tells me that this is an $8 hammer, I don't shop around. I believe in their pricing strategy because they've got me there over years and years of branding and loyalty and habits. And that's the difference Big W hasn't. They want to just constantly talk about cheap.
Yeah.
There's almost nothing I enjoy eating more than food. But with all my money going on fancy snot rags, it's getting harder to afford groceries. Now Woolies has the answer.
You told us you want change. So at Woolworths, we're making changes to help you fill your basket for less. You'll now find lower shelf prices on hundreds of products. And because lower shelf prices stay lower for longer, it's a change you'll see at the checkout. Lower shelf prices. It's a fresh commitment to you from the fresh food people.
Fun fact, they save money by stealing those arrows from Coles. But let's talk about lower shelf prices. Woolies sells 20,000 products and has lowered the price on 400 of them. So maybe you should lower your expectations. Instead of the red arrows, they should have gone with this. Russell, why is this offer so shellfish?
Oh, do you know what I love? I love the fact that the consumers, the public, we actually do punish brands. So if you go back to the pandemic times, Coles and Woolworths, they were seen as the most trusted brands in the country. And then if you have a look at the trust index now, well, that's not so much the case. So the consumers really do watch what's going on with regard to brands and corporations, and of course they watch price as well. So the very idea that 400 of 20,000 is going to be enough in order to reverse, the brand trend, well, that's unlikely to be the case. Also, of course, they're dealing with, as is Coles, they're dealing with some ACCC issues with illusionary pricing. So that, of course, that's going to really affect trust as well. And I've been thinking about this. I think it's missing. How do you bring back trust? I don't think you bring back trust by doing sort of traditional advertising. You've got to find a way to reflect the joy that you ought to be having by feeding Australia at a very low price. It's core to who and what you are. You've got to get your values right? So the notion of value every day. We are going to provide value every day for the Australian public, and we're going to celebrate the fact that we do that, and we're going to give them something enjoyable to watch, and as a result, they will reward the advertiser.
This is an incredible ripoff. So Coles down positioned themselves during the price wars as the value brand, and they did it quite well. This, to me, feels sort of deceptive, less like a price strategy, more like a perception strategy, because they're saying they're not guaranteeing anything. They're saying lower shelf prices. So that seems like a smokescreen, semantics. So what does that mean? Lowest prices on what? For how long? When? We don't know that. But what we do know is that Coles spent millions of dollars conditioning us that red, arrows pointing down, and when you see lower, it means value. And they literally have just grabbed it and used it. And to me, it seems like they're trying to trick us from a perception point of view to make us think that they're our friends because they're helping us out, some kind of altruism in the cost of living crisis. They're there just to sort of help us out. But what they're really doing is getting the value perception without it dramatically impacting their margin or their bottom line.
Yeah, but what we need to have, again, is we need to go back to having advertising war. There was an advertising war. Woolworths versus Coles. They spent tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on various ways to persuade us that they were bringing their prices down. And they were legit bringing their prices down.
But the thing with this is neither Woolworths nor Coles are the cheapest supermarket. Like Aldi clearly is, and that's really blatantly obvious. And Aldi doesn't advertise on price most of the time. They're actually advertising on fun and a whole load of other quirky stuff that they go with.
Yeah, and in the supermarket wars, I think Aldi will fight dirty.
I mean, Woolworths have taken a huge risk with this because they've called it out and said you will notice it at the till. And that is, unless you are buying from that 400 product range that actually has been reduced, you will not see that at the till.
I think it's interesting that they open with that kind of we listened sentiment. Like you've said something, this is us listening, and then this really bizarrely happy family runs in.
You know what the least convincing part of the ad for me is the little kid who's putting the love heart in the, and the employee's like, oh, isn't this charming, knowing I'm going to have to clean that. Annoying little shit. That's the freezer. That's meant to be closed, mate.